Remember how Max Park demolished the Rubik's Cube world record with 3.13? 1 week later, YiHeng Wang broke the 3x3 world record average with 4.48. And by the way, YiHeng Wang is a child. If he continues to enjoy cubing and improve at the rate he has, imagine how screwed the rest of us are. You know what? Imagine how screwed Max and Tymon already are. Their best record of 4.86, which were both world records when they got it, those were both so ahead of their time, and now they are behind by almost 0.4 seconds. And look, this new world record average has 2 solves that were sub 4 seconds. What? The total amount of 3-second solves that have even happened officially is 15. Wait, 15? That's a lot more than I thought. Anyway, 5 of these are from this guy, and 2 of them are from this average. And you know what's crazier? 4.48 seconds feels insanely good to me. But is it insanely good for YiHeng Wang, the fastest cuber in the world? So I checked. In 2023, how many times has YiHeng Wang officially solved a cube in 4.48 seconds or faster? 15 out of 150 solves. That is 10%, or 9% before this average happened. So yeah, to say that this average was unlikely is an understatement. So today we're going to take a look at these solves to see what we can learn and also to see what he could have done better. Because as YiHeng Wang's older brother, it is my job to keep his ego in check. Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, I never mentioned it, but YiHeng Wang is my little brother. His last name is Wang, and so is mine, so he has to be my brother. I don't make the rules. I'm just kidding, he's not my little brother. He's my son. If you want to follow along with the scrambles, hold white top and green front and apply the scramble to your cube. This was the first scramble of the world record average, and come on now, this is ridiculous. 3 cross pieces are already done. I mean, even a beginner can figure this one out during inspection. It's just 3 moves. But to top it all off, white is not even the best cross. YiHeng actually does the yellow cross because we are 1 move away from these 2 pieces. By the way, orange is pretty good too, in case you haven't noticed. But then after that, we have these 2, like this. And that is just also 3 moves. I mean, it's only 3 if you count these 2 as 1 move, which it basically is. But he does something smarter than that, because when you have such an easy cross, you have to start looking forward into the solve and see what else you can do to make this better. And here we have a solved edge piece for the first 2 layers, and here is the corner piece that goes with it. So what we can do first is put this corner piece between the 2 cross pieces, and that is done like this. That puts this here, and then when we do the D prime move, it's going to solve this F2L pair, and that's an X cross. Then we can just come back to the red and green and just solve these 2 normally. And this cross is so easy still. I mean, I've only done like 6 moves. So with good inspection, you can easily see the second F2L pair, which is these 2. And the funny thing about these 2 is if you pair them up like this, and when you start to insert it, this one pairs itself up like this. That is a great start, but unfortunately we have this case next, which we do with a rotation, and then insert this one into here. And luckily we can end it with a sledgehammer to get all of the cross pieces oriented. Then this is just a simple case of OLL and PLL. Now, as it turns out, this solve had a few points where it could have been a little bit better. And in the heat of the moment, it is obviously very hard to see these things. He is turning incredibly fast, so just the fact that he can turn anything at all is already impressive. So when I point out things that could be improved, I'm not saying I'm better than YiHeng, I'm just saying that here's something interesting. By solving the third F2L pair in the most straightforward way possible, we get the worst case for the last F2L pair. So instead, you could solve it like this. And this is just a common trick for when you know the last pair is going to come out as the worst. If you do that instead, it comes out as the best case. And then you can just insert that. That would make F2L a little bit better. It doesn't make OLL or PLL better, so it's not like this would have made the solve better. But I did find something else very obvious that would have made the solve way better. So this case, you don't have to rotate. From this case, if you do it rotationless, like that, then you get this And this doesn't look really special, but it's something you can recognize where there's this attached to the pair and there's a line here. This is a VLS case. VLS is when you solve the last pair in a way that solves OLL at the same time. The way you can do this case is with this algorithm, and it looks like this. Yeah, it gets a PLL skip as well. And that all comes from doing this pair rotation list. So do the right thing in your solves. And even if you didn't know this VLS algorithm, if you just insert the pair, then no matter how you do this case, you're going to get a PLL skip anyway. So let's say you do it from here, then you are just resetting up the VLS case. But if you do a U2 and do it from here, then you're just gonna get a PLL skip anyway. I am better than YiHeng, confirmed. I would say this scramble is the only one that wasn't insanely lucky in this average. He goes for yellow cross because blue and green are already solved, but the way he did it was a little strange. Orange can go in easily with D to move its spot over, and then L, D prime. Red is the tough one, but it's not hard if you just do U first, then the DL, D prime sets up red. So that would make a very easy cross and a setup first pair. That is the most obvious cross solution for me here, and when I do inspection, I always check the most obvious thing and see if it gives something good, and if so, I sometimes just stop checking, but the way he did this was like this. Just do orange first, and then move red to the right here, and insert red like this. Then we have this pair, which you can set up like that. So this isn't bad, but I don't see why you would choose this over the more obvious solution. So anyway, we then insert this into the back, and we have this pair coming up next. And YiHeng does something super duper smart here. So what he does is he pairs them up, ready to insert. And instead of inserting normally, which gives this case as the next one, he notices that you can actually insert this one with a sledgehammer to set up this case. So by doing sledgehammer like that, you get this case like that. And this looks like some crazy multi-slotting thing. Like how often is this gonna show up next to this and you just know to sledgehammer it? Well, that's not really what's happening here. If you just know that this orange-blue pair, if you're trying to insert it here, forget about the red-blue. If you know that you can sledgehammer to pair it up, then that's all you need to know. That's why knowing multiple ways to solve one case can actually be helpful, because in this case, it helped with a multi-slot. Then rotate and insert this one, and rotate back and insert these two. So very straightforward end to the solve. For OLL, we have this case done like this. And I would have loved if he noticed that this corner pattern looked like this with these two matching and this one opposite, and this would have given a diagonal swap PLL, which are the worst cases. And if he did it like this, that would have made me happy, U-perm. But you know what? He got a V-perm, which isn't great, but he did it like this, which is the algorithm that I use. And I think it's the best one, and it's very underrated. So I'm so happy he used that one. But there's also something very underrated that YiHeng did not do that I really wish he did do in this solve. And so we're gonna go with his cross solution again, orange there, red here, pair this up, and insert into the back. Now, very veteran new age solvers will notice this is a 3-move case, and instead of the red-blue that he did, this would have been the best case to do in this situation, because you can do this. 3-mover. And yeah, I know a lot of top keepers don't prefer doing this case because it can lead to difficult look ahead, but I think you can get used to it. But the best part is it sets up red-green, which sets up red-blue, and then gives a soon case into T-perm. Like, this would have been so much better. I am YiHeng's older brother. For the third solve, we again have an insanely lucky scramble. So we're gonna do yellow cross here. Red and orange are pretty much set up, and blue is ready to go right after red. The only thing we have to do right here is do a U prime to get green on top of orange. And then if you do all of this, just put them all in, you get an X cross. That's a 5-move X cross. Even a 5-move cross is good. This is a 5-move X cross. You just do the cross normally and you get a free pair. This is the type of scramble where if I got this at a competition with a bunch of other good cubers in my round who also got the same scramble, we would be talking about this afterwards. Like, holy, did you get the scramble? Did you see what I saw? The best part about how YiHeng did this, though, is the finger tricks, because I would not have done what he did. Here is what I would have done. U prime, and then put in orange and red, and then do this to put in green and blue. Now, this is good, but it leaves a front pair solved, which makes it harder to find future pieces, and the next best pair, this one, I would have to rotate to solve it next. I wouldn't be surprised if YiHeng saw exactly that and decided that that wasn't good, and to save a rotation, here's how he did this. He sets down the cube with yellow on the front. Normally you want your cross on the bottom, but he put it on the front in order to get some crazy finger tricks. So he sets up for this move that's coming up soon by picking it up with his left hand, and then before that, uses his right hand to do this move, like this. That's what sets up this green. So he's doing it as a back move. I was doing it as a U move facing an entirely different place. But then after that, we have this, this, this. And it does the same thing, except it sets you up to be facing red for this pair. That is so smart, and it just saves a cube rotation, but makes the solve so much better. So next up, we have this pair done like this to pair it up, and then put it in here. This one very obvious next. And insert into the back, then these two. So this is just very straightforward, pretty much only one path from here that he could have done. And then we have OLL, and PLL is T-perm. And that was a sub 4-second solve, which I cannot believe is just happening regularly nowadays. But next, of course, we have a 3-second solve again. And this scramble, again, is insane. There's no 5-move X cross like there was last time, but the thing is, how to approach this scramble, if you're at a high level in cubing, it's very, very obvious. And I would not be surprised if you gave a bunch of top cubers this exact scramble, like 90% of them would have had the exact same solution. So we're doing yellow cross again, a lot of yellow cross in this average. And here we have red and orange already here, but of course we don't want them next to each other. Green though can just take the spot of orange. And now it's next to red in the correct way. And then after that, blue and orange are set up properly relative to each other. So we just do D and put both of them in. Now, which one do you put in first? The answer is blue for 2 reasons. One, your hand position would be here at this point, and blue is just easier to do first. But the other reason is so that this pair comes out in a way that is rotationless after you solve the cross. And I'm pretty sure this exact set of cases happened earlier in one of the solves, but on the left side. You just insert this pair, and that pairs up this one. And that pairs up this one. And after you insert orange-blue, okay, I guess there's another way you could do orange-green, and it's like that, but I don't think anyone's really doing that. We can just rotate, solve this one like this, and then we have a very easy OLL case. And then we have PLL is just R-perm. All I have to say about that is I cannot believe those 2 scrambles showed up back to back. At this point, YiHeng had already secured the world record average of, at worst, 4.48 seconds, which is already a gigantic gap from the previous 4.69 world record. This is because no matter how bad his final solve is, the best solve and the worst solve get removed from an average when calculating cubing averages. But he still had a chance to improve this record, and if he got the best solve on this last one, which, I mean, 3 threes in one average, you're asking for a lot. But if that did happen, this average could have gone all the way down to 4.22, which I would not be surprised if that didn't get broken for like a decade. This scramble, somehow, is also incredible. So check this out. He's doing yellow cross again, of course. And here we have this orange-green pattern. And when you have this, so we're going to do D2, and then now orange can go in. But we put green on top of it, and then you can insert them like that to make the little square. And this corner is now solved. So to make an X cross, we have to solve the orange-green edge. Or we can just ignore that because it's ready to go in already. So we just insert red, and it just throws that in for you. Of course, we put literally 0 moves into this X cross. This is a first pair skip. This is not your standard X cross. We skipped the first pair. I can't believe a free X cross or first pair skip happens twice in the same average. This almost never happens. But that's not how YiHeng did it. He did something smarter, of course. Before doing the final D move to align the cross, he notices that this edge is solved, but this corner is twisted. And this actually is one of the worst F2L cases you can possibly have. So before that, he orients this corner correctly, and that gives you a much better amount of turns needed to solve this case. So before putting that there, he reorients this one like this, then does a D move. Now keep that in mind. We're going to come back to that later about how that could have been improved, but that is a very good idea to avoid the terrible case. And next we have this pair and this pair. So this one is rotationless. Insert, And then here, he does this one without rotating, which can be done with a sledgehammer. And then you can just insert this one. Unfortunately, though, we are getting a diagonal corner swap PLL, so we get a V-perm again, although he does the V-perm algorithm that I use, so I'm very happy about this V-perm. So back to this part I said I'd talk about. When he reorients this corner, so to avoid this case, he actually could have done something better here. And with how skilled YiHeng is, I'm sure he could have noticed this. This edge and this corner, you can actually set them up while reorienting this corner. All you have to do is add a U prime move, just one move. Now when you orient this corner, it sets up this case. And we can do a wide move to make this one rotationless. And then we have this case to end it. And easier OLL. And easier PLL. And the F2L was easier. I'm not going to say it. The solve ended up being a 5.99, which by YiHeng standards is not so great, but I mean, that's still a good solve. It wasn't a bad solution or anything. I think YiHeng just messed up, but I mean, you just destroyed the world record average. I mean, no one expects anything from you at that point. Except break the 2x2 world record average because he's randomly third best in the world. Come on, little bro. I know you can do it.